Good evening. Hi, how are you? Thank you for showing up. And this is the first, so I have to do this on my phone. Unfortunately, my computer is not cooperating. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me clearly. If you can, just go ahead and leave a thumbs up in the chat. And hopefully in the meantime, this will be working. All right, let's see. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm just going to wait a little bit just to see if anyone else shows up. If it's just us, that's okay. This is a first trial run of this live to see how it works, how it flows. You can give me feedback um, on what you like, what you don't like. If you can hear me, just let me know in the chat that you can hear me because I don't know if you can. I see it. Audio seems good. But yeah, just want to definitely make sure that everything's good on my end so that you can hear me clearly, and then we can take it from there. And so, really, this is just going to be a brief overview of what uh, I've spoken about on Miami Gardens Now, the Instagram, Facebook pages. And I just figured since I had gotten so many, really, I was surprised on the post about the school zone stops cameras. So I decided to just go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the things that have been coming up in the past few weeks. And I just decided, I've had this page for a while. Let me go ahead and utilize it and get out to more people in the community so they can see it. Unfortunately, because the computer's not working right now, I didn't realize I had to upload all of the documents to it. I will moving forward. I know how to do that now, and I'll go from there. But whatever I talk about tonight, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the Tap In What's Good Now Miami Gardens broadcast channel. And for those who are on the WhatsApp, I'm going to send those links to you guys on the WhatsApp. And for everyone else who's not on WhatsApp or you haven't subscribed or joined really to the broadcast channel, which I just started today. So if you haven't joined, you still have a lot of time because I just did it this morning. I just decided to do this today because why not? And so here we go. And I'm going to put I think there's a way to invite folks up if they want to speak. So if you want to copy, and I'm going to put the link here. And let's see if it goes through, hopefully. So if you are interested in joining the conversation and you want to add to the conversation, just click on the link and then you can join me. But again, this is the first show or episode, really. So it's a trial run for me. And it'll be a trial run for you and I as we do this together. So if you want to speak about any of the topics that I bring up tonight, and I'm not going into in-depth conversations about any of the topics because some of these topics say the North Miami Beach one and the third term Myrtle Grove for sure, and the school zone, they all need their own episodes because some of them are really not complicated, but there's a nuance to the some of them, and it's important that we get the understanding. But I just want to give a general overview of what's going on with the topics that I'm going to talk about tonight, and that you guys will be able to jump in and say what you need to say if you want to come on up and speak. Okay. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and start because I'm only going to be on here for an hour or less. So my name is Christine. Most people call me Christine or Chris, it's fine. And I'm the founder of this Miami Gardens Now social media page, which most of you guys know from either Instagram or Facebook. I do have a TikTok page as well, and WhatsApp page for a lot of folks who don't have either one of those. I have a WhatsApp page for folks there, and I just started the broadcast channel that's connected to the Instagram page. I just did that today so that when I upload information, I can now put the links on there so you're able to click the links and get the actual documents, right? And so tonight, I'm just going to talk about a few topics, and that'll be North Miami Beach water for residents in the city of Miami Gardens who have who are customers of North Miami Beach. There are a lot of moving things that are happening with that just as of this week alone. Big things. So please pay attention to that. Myrtle Grove Park, the third term talk, which I know is a big hot topic that's been happening, as well as the school zone cameras and a couple of the agenda, and then a couple of upcoming events that are really big that are going to impact the community. So um, go ahead, like the channel, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And again, if you want to join the conversation with me, just go ahead and click the link. Hopefully you can see it because I can't see it from my end, unfortunately, if you can see it. But that's for now. I'll figure it out later as we go along. And so I'm going to go ahead and start with the North Miami Beach water surcharge situation. And that right there is something that's been going on since the inception of the city, really. And then I think 2003, when the city became incorporated, or right before the city became incorporated, the city of North Miami Beach, which had been charging the city from what I've read, and if you have North Miami Beach water, please, if I'm incorrect on the percentage, correct me in the chat, so I'll make sure that I have the right number. But from what I've read, it was 15%. They were the surcharge that they were charging residents at the time prior to it becoming Miami Gardens. Once there was a inkling of the city, I guess, becoming Miami Gardens in February of 2003, they actually raised the surcharge to 25%. Now, you say the surcharge, what is that? This surcharge, which is a part of a bill, this is not just in the state of Florida. It's a statute that's in, Miami Gardens, there's a statute in the state of Florida, right? It's statute 180.191. If you have North Miami Beach, you get the bill, it's on the bill. It literally is on the bill. And it's a limitation on rates charged consumers outside of city limits. What does that mean? Well, first off, for those who don't know, North Miami Beach, they service a lot of areas and they own a lot of water utility facilities throughout various cities, right? So we're talking about North Miami Beach itself, Miami Gardens, Aventura, Golden Beach, Sunny Isles Beach, East Dade, which includes Hollover, and North Miami Dade, which is Ogis, right? So we're talking about a lot of places that they have facilities. And Miami Gardens has two, one in Myrtle Grove and the large one right there in Norland. And the first one that they bought was approximately about 70 years ago, and that was Sunny Isles. So they bought all of these facilities that were up for sale. So they didn't steal them, they were up for sale. And what they did is with this bill, that's about as long as they're actually it's been around a while. There's variations of the bill, but it's been around for a while. And so what they did is this bill allows these municipalities that own these utilities in other municipalities to charge up to 25%. They don't have to charge 25% or any percentage. They could leave it as just regular, but they choose to charge the maximum, which in this case is 25%. Um, and so they, that's a burden on a lot of residents here in the city of Miami Gardens. I didn't know anything about it until about 2.5 years ago when I went to a Norland Norwood Crime Watch meeting. And actually, that meeting is on the YouTube page. You can find it. I'll find it later and I'll put it in the chat. And and I didn't realize people were paying $1,500 for water. I have Miami-Dade water, so I completely clueless about it. And so it really got me to thinking like, wow, people are paying that much for water. Why? And when you hear the stories, it's amazing that it's allowed, they're allowed to get away with it, but they are because it's a law. And so this week, or actually on the 26th of March, House Bill 11, which was sponsored by Miami Garden, well, the state rep for this area, who is Felicia Robinson. She's been trying to get this bill passed for some time, since last year and the year before, since she began, and it actually passed the House. Now it went on to the Senate and it passed the Senate Rules Committee this week. So I believe, I don't know where it's standing right now because I see it's at a standstill at a particular committee, but that's a good thing. Only one person was against it. Out of the 23 people, one person said no for this bill this week. So that's something to pay attention to because guess what? If you are someone that's paying that ridiculous amount for water, something that's a necessity, this will be like a lifesaver to you. Also, there is between 2017 and 2021, the city of North Miami Beach, they had imposed, the surcharge was there, but what happened is they had another business doing, business for them, which means that the residents weren't technically giving the 25% or their monies to North Miami. It was to another business. And, the city brought a lawsuit and said, hey, listen, this is not right. So there is something out there right now for you guys. I can't do it right at this moment because, again, unfortunately, my computer is not working, so I'm doing this on the phone. But all of this that I'm telling you in terms of how you can collect some of the money and be a part of the class action lawsuit, if you have North Miami Beach water, you have until next year, which is, I believe, January 26th, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. You have until then to fill out the application so that you can be a part of the class action lawsuit so that you can get some of this money. That's what, $9 million. Okay. So I'm not going to stay too long on it. This is, like I said, this is just something I just want to touch on a little bit so that you guys know what's happening with the North Miami Beach water if you weren't aware of it. Now, Myrtle Grove Park is next up. And so I would love for someone who is involved with Myrtle Grove Park to definitely join me. It might not be today because I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to go into it too much right now, but I would love for someone to join me and just so that we can have a discussion about Myrtle Grove Park and what it means. But Myrtle Grove Park, along with so many other parks, were part of the $60 million bond money that was put out there for these parks, right? The city has about 17 parks, give or take, and Myrtle Grove is one of the 17 parks included in this bond. Well, there had been a lot of back and forth on what to do with this park, and residents in the area had the option to either keep the pool that's there, get rid of the pool. What do they want? So they all, basically put out there and said, what do residents want? They did a mailer, and the residents said, hey, we want a recreation. So that was what was on supposed to be done. And that was what, 2 years? What are we in 2025? So that was about 3 years now. Sorry, almost 3 years ago that there was a Meet Me Sunday about that. And unfortunately, it seems like Councilwoman Katrina Wilson, and she said it in this past Meet Me Monday. You can hear it for yourself. And I recorded it on the YouTube page that she wanted the pool. Well, you had a resident who said, no, residents don't want the pool. They want a recreational facility and also a walking trail. If you've never been to Myrtle Grove Park, you'll see why the walking trail is so important. Because, it's a large grassy area, but you have people that want to walk and they don't really have a walking trail per se there. And so it's important that you know a little bit about that area. So I'm not going to go into it too much right now today, because again, um, this technical situation, so I don't want to hold it up too much, but just know that there is a park there. Residents have stated emphatically they don't want the swimming pool anymore. They want a facility, a recreational facility, an enclosed recreational facility, a walking trail, an exercise area, and also thinking about people who are disabled and helping those individuals to enjoy the park themselves, right? Because I've been to that park and spoken to folks who have a disability who would love to enjoy the park without having to feel they have to rush out of the park because kids are there. And so it's a large enough park. It's not small like I think probably the smallest park in the city is Cloverleaf, and that's a pretty small park. So it's not even close to that park. And folks need to understand that your voice matters. And, if you don't want something and, you're at a disagreement with a council person or council people, then you still have the right to say, no, this is what we want. And that's what residents did, is when they filled out the mailer and were asked, what do they want in the community? And they were told that. And for whatever reason, here we are still trying to get this park up and running. And quite frankly, I've been to one meeting where the assistant city manager, or excuse me, the deputy city manager, Craig Clay, um, he stated that, look, the park could be built right now. It absolutely could be built right now. But they're waiting on the possibilities of finding funding for um, a pool, which we're talking about $9 million. So we need to definitely make sure that we're aware of what's going on with these parks and pools, or no pools, because right now on the west side, which is the west of 27th Avenue, you have a pool at Betty T. Ferguson Park. You have a water park at Buccaneer Park. There was a pool at Brentwood Park, but that got torn down. And now you have a pool at Myrtle Grove, but the residents don't want a pool there. You do have a pool at Norland Park, and you do have a pool at Bunch Park. So it's not that the city doesn't have pools, but how are the pools being utilized in the city? We don't have to wait for just someone to go in there and swim. You could have pool parties. You could have movie nights in the pools. There's so many ways to utilize the pools in the community. I personally don't see it. I could be wrong. I don't see everything. However, it's just something to think about, and another way to utilize your voice and getting things out there in the community. So now we're going to go to the third term, which was the hotbed topic a couple weeks ago when you saw the video. Everyone's seen the video. I'm sure people who don't even live here in the state have seen this video of Councilwoman Wilson really going at it with a resident and former um, candidate for seat 5, Karen Hunter Jackson. Um, here's the deal with the third term. The third term, if you know about can you guys hear me? I'm here talking. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, unfortunately. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let's see if we can invite. How does this work? Hold on one second. Guess can get there. All right, let's see if it's working. Unfortunately, I don't know. I think because I'm doing it on StreamYard, I can't see what you guys are saying. So I'm gonna try one more time on my computer if my computer wants to work. I can't figure this thing out. Hold on one second. Because if it's not, then what I'm gonna do is I'll just have to uh, take it down, and then I'll just come right back up as just the YouTube uh, live, because I think that's probably better. YouTube live, I can actually see what you guys are saying. If you guys are saying something in the chat, I can't see anything, unfortunately. I don't know if this is. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I don't know why I couldn't see. I couldn't see anything. Okay, I have no idea why I couldn't see anything. All right, good, 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 good. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I had to go out and come back in to see what the heck. I'm like, I don't see any comments. Okay, here we go. All right, cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so the third term. Here's the deal with the third term. There was a, what is it, May 22nd. The third term really came to the city council meeting on May 22nd via the city clerk, where he was a proxy for Councilman Reggie Leon, who, and you can see all of this. This is nothing that I'm telling you, is not anything you can't see on YouTube yourself. He he gave a report from the Charter Review Committee. The Charter Review Committee, per Councilman Reggie Leon, he stated that there was conversations about the third term. Now, I'm going to stop right there and state that I've spoken to someone from the Charter Review Committee who told me emphatically that the people who were on the committee itself, they actually said no, they were not for the third term. Yet, when it was brought to the council and noted by the councilman himself, this is, again, nothing that I'm saying is not anything you can't see for yourself. He said that there was a conversation. Okay, a conversation to bring a third term. What does that mean? Well, currently the council members have the ability to have to serve up to 2 terms if they were to win both terms. 2 terms meaning 2 4-year terms, 8 in total. Um, with this third term, this would add an additional 4 years, i.e., 12. Oh, what happened here? 12 years possibly as a council person and 12 years possibly as a mayor. Well, residents heard about this and they weren't happy. And so that's the first time it was brought up, May 22nd. On June 12th, this day was, I don't know if it was a hurricane or whatever was going on that day, but there was a massive storm happening that day. And the city of Miami Gardens, which quite frankly I found really wild, was uh they had the meeting. They everyone else, went home, and all cities that I'm looking at, and they all went home. And the city of Miami Gardens, they were intent on having this council meeting, and so they did. And so residents showed up, and they showed up in T-shirts that said, "Go." Your voice counts, or your vote counts, or whatever it is. But a lot of residents showed up that day and noted that they were against the third term. They did not want them to be there any more than they had to be, which is 2 terms. 2 terms is more than enough. And one of the reasons for them wanting to be there for the third term. And by the way, I forgot to add that Councilman Katrina Wilson is the one, Councilwoman, excuse me, Katrina Wilson was the one that sponsored that agenda item for the third term. And her reasoning was that they wanted to finish what they started. Now, my question is, and if you're on here or any of the council members are on here, what is it that you guys need to finish that you have started? Please, I have not heard one council person state exactly what is happening right now that they need an extra they need an extra term to finish whatever it is that they started. What is it that she started, or Councilman Reggie Leon, or Councilwoman Linda Julian, or the mayor? What is it that they have started during their terms that they need to stay an additional term, i.e., a third term? They haven't stated that. And so that's something that if they're out there, please, if you're in the, you're out there and you want to put in the chat, by all means, let me know, because I would love to know what it is. But they were insistent that they have this third term, and I don't think they were expecting the residents to show up. No, I'm pretty sure they weren't expecting the residents to show up, and the residents showed up several times after that, meaning months and months and months. They would consistently state they were against the third term. So when we come to the March 26th meeting, which is this year, again, that particular meeting, and it was 36 people that were at the meeting who had a public comment. We're talking about almost an hour and 20 minutes, because I counted an hour and about 20 minutes of just pure public meeting. Majority of it was about the third term. Not all of it, but the majority of it was about the third term. And I don't know what happened in that moment that there was a need to get excited, upset, annoyed, but the word bully and intimidation has been stated several times. And if you can see all of this. This is a question that I asked this past Monday to the councilwoman, who said she was bullied and there was intimidation tactics. And I asked her emphatically, what is it? How? I want to know, because I'm hearing the words, but I'm not seeing or hearing the explanation as to what happened, what exactly happened that you would use those words. So again, the third term, when it comes to the third term, also, it was stated that the mayor stated it as well, that we're done with it. The mayor doesn't get to tell anyone that he's done with it. You know why? Because he's a council member too. And you know why? They all have to vote. Remember this, just because he's a mayor or she's a council person, or this is a council person who is an overall council person, i.e. seats 5 and 6, they don't just get to say, okay, well, let's finish this done. No. It doesn't work like that. They still have to vote on things. If residents continue to come up there and do and say exactly what it is, what they don't want, which is what happened a month ago when residents did that, the council members still don't get to say, well, it's not going to happen. They can say it all they want, but guess what? It can come back. And that's what happened. That's what happened with May 26th. When they said, oh, we're withdrawing it on June 12th of 2024, okay, it's not coming back. Guess what happened? On March 26th, 2025, it came back. The very thing. So you cannot just listen and sit to someone who's saying that it can't come back, because it absolutely can. And it did. It did. So you guys have to pay attention to what's going on. I'm not here to tell anyone to vote for or against. I'm just here to tell you the facts. The facts are that it can come back at any time. It absolutely can come back. Now, the time frame in which it comes back, it has an impact on some of the people who would possibly benefit from the third term, i.e. the folks who are in the even numbers. We're talking about seats 2, 4, and 6. That is Councilman Reggie Leon, Councilwoman Katrina Wilson, and Councilman Robert Stevens. Pay attention. That's all. I'm not here to tell you for, against, or whatever. You do whatever you want. You do what's in your heart. But if you are for something or you're against something, you have the 2 minutes in your city council meeting to go up there and say whatever it is that you want to say during that time. That's number one. So we're going to move on from that. Now, the big topic that I'm going to go into a little bit more, and again, I'm going to go into all of these topics on their own, the North Miami Beach Water, Myrtle Grove Park, the third term, separately, because they all need their own episode, really, to just really get into it. Yeah, a waste of $250,000. How many police officers could we hire to stop? Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, this is just something to throw us off. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So you have to definitely speak up. And if you are, and you can show up, you listen. Here's another thing, and I'll tell you this because I've had people ask me this: can I go to a council member's meeting if they're not my council member? They all vote on the same thing. I repeat, they all vote on the same thing. It does not matter if it's not your quote unquote direct council person in your area. When they go to council meetings, they all have to vote on the same thing. So it doesn't matter. So show up to Councilwoman Wilson's Meet Me Mondays or Councilman Stevens Table Talk Tuesdays at Starbucks, or Councilwoman Katrina Baskin's meeting at I think it's at what's the Buccaneer Park, and Councilwoman Powell, who has her meeting sometimes at Bunch Park and I think sometimes at Rolling Oaks Park. Those are the only 4 that consistently have meetings every month. The other council members do not. Okay, so just want you to know you can show up to anybody's meeting. They're public officials and they represent you. Period. Point blank. That's number one. So just pay attention to all of those things. Now, with the school zone cameras, I posted the video about 12 days ago, and the amount of traction that took place on that video kind of threw me off because I was not expecting the amount of people to respond to that video the way they did. However, that really shows me that there was a lack of communication somewhere in there. There's something that's missing that we need to and I've said it to folks in the city that there's a missing link. For those who don't know, in 2023, Governor DeSantis signed a bill, that's House Bill 657, that stated the use of cameras is authorized to enforce speeding violations throughout the school day. That's in 2023. Now, in 2024, the city of Miami Gardens on, when was it? I have the paper here. The first time it was brought to the city council was in, where did I put it? I think I stapled it to something. I think it was in, hold on one second. Oh, okay. I knew I had it right here. January 24th, 2024. Okay. And it was sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. And it's an ordinance of the city council. And I'm just reading what they said. Hi, Ms. Hughes. Okay, so an ordinance of City of Council of Miami Gardens amending Chapter 24 of the City of Miami Gardens zones, which is called the School Zone Speed Limit, to enhance enforcement of speed limits. So this was January 2024. That's the first reading of this agenda item, right? And then the second time it was brought to the City Council was on February 14th. The reason why I'm giving you these dates is because here's the deal. As residents, these agenda items come out the 1 week before the city council meeting. You have an opportunity to look at the agenda item, read through it, click through it and read the larger explanation. And then if you want to say something for or against, or you have a question, you can either write to your council members or the city manager, whomever is the sponsor, or all of them, whichever, or you can go to City Hall, go to the council meeting, and utilize your 2 minutes of public comment and state what it is you are for or against. I remember at least one lady, I don't remember if there was someone else, but I definitely remember one lady who came up there and said she was against this. She was against this. And the councilwoman kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of chastised her. And so, what is this? Hold on. I don't know how to bring you up. I'm gonna put, there's a link. Hold on. I'm gonna put a link in the chat. Let's see if this works. Click the link. When I put the link there, you should be able to, hold on. I don't know if it goes through or not. Can't figure out how to do this. Hold on. Hopefully it's there. Do you guys see a link? I don't know where the link is. It's supposed to be a link. That way I can bring you up if you want to talk about it. But says, okay, there it is. Yeah, so just click the link and you should be able to come up, and then you can speak on it. I hope hopefully it'll work. I don't know if it'll work or not, but we'll see. Yeah. Where's the money going for those school traffic tickets? Sorry, late. No, I just started on the school. Actually, I kind of went through it a little bit, and there was actually a breakdown of the school traffic. I don't know if I have all the pages here, but there was actually a breakdown. I think $60 goes to the city. Okay, here we go. All right, so okay. So let me go. Okay, let me just finish this first, and then I'll go into the breakdown of that. Yeah, click the link and see if it works. Hopefully it works. I don't know. This will be my first time, so you know. At any rate, so here's the deal. This school traffic zone, these they're going up. It's about 50% of them that are there. Hi, Kim. Yeah, so 50% are up. Not all of the cameras are up. When I went to the Myrtle Grove crime watch meeting the other day, the police officer stated that when that particular one goes up, so if it goes up, say the one right here by Brentwood Elementary just went up. So you have 30 days during that time period. That's 30-day warning. After those 30 days, then the tickets will start on that road, and that's 191st Street, from my understanding. Please correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, if you know more than I do. But that's what she stated during the meeting. Also, the cameras start rolling 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. So 30 minutes before, meaning they calculate the 30 minutes is when they first start serving breakfast. So whenever breakfast is served, that's 30 minutes before breakfast is served. That's when they start rolling those cameras to take the photos of the vehicles. Okay, so please be mindful when you're driving near a school. If you're around any school, even if you don't see the cameras, still just take your time because you don't know where the cameras are. But they're going up. There isn't one right now, I know for sure, by Carroll City High School, because I asked her and she said, no, there isn't one yet, but it will be. And you know, Carroll City is right there on 183rd Street. So all those folks who are driving like maniacs, good luck. Okay, let's see if I can figure it out. Hopefully I can get you up. All right. Who is this? Is this Alexandra? Add to stage. Hold on, me. Hello?
Oh, you did it. Can you hear me?
Yay! Okay, good.
Okay,
Hold
awesome.
on. Hold on. One more person's coming up. Is that Fred? Okay, let's see if we can get Fred up. Uh, add to stage. Hi, Fred. Okay.
How you doing, guys? Great to be
All
here.
right.
Hello.
Great to be here.
Okay, one more person. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, okay. And I thought it said okay. All right. So okay, we'll start with you, Alexandra. What do you want to say on this school zone or anything else?
Yeah, the school zone, there's, to me, I found a discrepancy. So I got a ticket, and I'm looking at the ticket right now. So it's off of 22nd Avenue, and I'm challenging my ticket. So I submitted it so that I can go to court on it. Um, so I got it on 22nd by Beacon Hill Preparatory.
Okay.
So I drove over there, and I have pictures. And when you're coming down 183rd and you're going to make a right to go down 22nd, there's the gas station, and you keep driving, and then you see the school. And the day that I went, and I'm going to go in the morning and see as well, um, you're going to see two buses parked in front of the school. The sign that says, whatever enforcement, camera enforcement, is
Mhm.
obstructed by the buses. That's number one. Number two, it's at the end of the school. It's not even at the beginning prior to the school, where the school building is. So you've already passed the school, and then there's a sign. And then when you cross the block, there's another sign. The older signs, like how it used to be, that the time or the speed is enforced between such and such time and such time, which is before school starts until the students enter, and then dismissal time. That's how that I'm used to seeing all the traffic signs are for the school zones. There's a big discrepancy.
Mm.
That's an unlawful discrepancy.
So I don't know if that school is still up and running, but there's a school right on the corner across from it called Excelsior.
Well, that's
I don't know
another
if that's
discrepancy,
yeah. So I
because
don't know
when
if
you
that
go,
school is there. Mhm.
yeah, that school is there. So now
Okay.
when you cross over, so now this is heading south on 22nd. So now if you're heading north on 22nd, yes, there's that other school that's there with its own speed limits, different from the speed limit that's across the street. That's confusion.
Wait, so you're saying Beacon like say Beacon says maybe there is this from 8:30 to 2:30 or something. And then across the street Excelsior has theirs from 7:15 to 3:30.
Yeah, and let
So
me
it's
go to
two
my
two
pictures
different
because
ones? Oh wow. Okay.
no, what
Oh this.
happens is that, so when you cross over the block, so
Mhm.
at the end of Beacon Hill, at the end of the at the corner, not where the school begins, where the traffic sign should be. You're putting the
Okay.
traffic sign at the end of the school once you've already passed the school. Number one, number two, in the afternoon, the school buses are in front of it, so you can't even see it. Number three, there's no flashing lights. So
Mm.
all of these are, so my ticket is going, I'm not going to pay for this ticket because you have all of these discrepancies. So then when you cross over the block, here's the new speed limit, 15 between 7:15 and 9:15 a.m. and then 1:45 to 4:15 p.m. school days. That's heading south. Now you turn around and you're going north, and there's that school. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look at my pictures. um, that little school that's across the street from it, who has its
Mhm.
own speed limits, which is 15, 7:15 to 9:15, so and so. So that other sign that's at Beacon is not even, it's not also on the, it's not on the northbound side of 22nd. So I also saw a discrepancy at another school. You have two signs. You have the regular sign that tells you between the AM and the
Mhm.
PM time when school starts and when school ends. And then you have
Right.
these new signs. Let me see. Here it is. Speed limit photo enforced 7:15 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. There is
Right.
no flashing lights. You all these other
They
things.
okay. So here's the deal. They don't have to have flashing lights in the state of Florida. They said it's not a requirement because someone asked Chief Nargiso and he stated that it's not a requirement.
Well,
So
it should, if the sign is obstructed and you don't have flashing lights, then you can't blame the driver.
Right.
That's it. And especially if it's during, if there's there's not dismissal, there's not arrival, it's the middle of the day,
hmm
then how are you giving all these tickets out? For what purpose? And where is this money going?
so okay, so let me let Fred get in there, and then I'm gonna tell you the breakdown of the $100. Okay, go ahead, Fred.
I just want to chime in and say, where is the money going on the term limits thing? They're going to have to pay $250,000. Where are they getting this money from? I mean, the federal
Mm,
government and the state are cutting money right and left. Where do they think this money is going to come from? As a tax base, Miami Gardens doesn't have that kind of money. Yes, we have the stadium. Yes, we have some businesses, but come on, we're a working blue collar town other than the stadium. Let's face it, we're a bedroom community for the city, both for two cities, Fort Lauderdale and Miami. I mean, really, two hundred and fifty
okay.
thousand dollars. $250,000 for this. Think about this. We could fix the parks up if we needed to with that money. We could build a park
hmm
probably with that money. We could buy bonds with that money. And like I said in the chat, we could hire probably 2 to 4, maybe 3 police officers to stop the gun violence. And who's little Jim? Mostly at 183rd, which is a certain person's district, is where a lot of the crime's happening. Instead of worrying about keeping your seat, she should be worrying about stopping crime and making sure people don't get shot up on that major artery. It seems
Every
like,
day.
Yeah.
really, really. I mean, I did my meeting, Chris. Thank you for coming out for it. I appreciate it. We're going to try to maybe do one more in Miami Gardens this year or next year if we get the funding, because it needs to be heard. And we're going to work on having the rent people come out too. We are going to work on that. So people come out to talk to y'all about the rent and have a table for that, because that's a need in
Mm,
Miami Gardens. We know it as impact and we're
okay.
going to try to address it. We will. But really, they're wasting all this money. Then they're doing all this parliamentary garbage with the term limits. Really, nobody wants term limits, extended term limits. Nobody. The state is going to clamp down and say no to this, and they're going to rubber stamp that through right away. Do they understand? It's not. They're wasting our time. They're wasting our money. They're wasting our energy. They're creating a bunch of anger and division for no reason, none at all. I mean, really, why are they pushing this instead of, like everybody said, doing something in your community? Show us you did something. Show us you went out there and did something about the gun violence. Show us you did something about the rent. Show us you did something to fix the parks up. Show us you did something to fix the streets up. Show us you solved the issues with the stadium whenever we have major events. Something like that. No. What do we get? We want a third term. To say you're a councilman, to say you're a mayor, that's nice, but the title don't mean anything if you don't do anything. Now I'm quiet. Thank you all.
Yeah, the violence is getting out of hand. Every day you hear of something happening in the city of Miami Gardens, some sort of shooting, and we definitely need more police officers. The reason in my section, our response was that number one, the community itself is not making enough calls because when the captain came to our crime watch meeting,
Mhm.
he came out with the statistics. Well, we're not getting much calls here, and a lot of people are saying, well, we're not getting responses. You call and it'll take forever for them to come. So we're trying to get more engagement and letting these people know, I don't care what it is, call and make a report, because yes, we have a lot of car theft, we have some unruly behavior, and there is drug activity. And before something happens, like, have some patrol. So if there's a lack of police, then money needs to be put towards there. And everything that's happening on the news, I would think is proof enough and we have all of these crime watch in all the areas. Like, let's do something. And then we have all these tourists and visitors. We should have like a really big, thriving police force.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry
We
about
don't
that.
have.
Someone called me, so I didn't. I kind of missed a little bit because someone called me just now.
We don't.
But yeah,
We don't.
yeah,
We don't
yeah,
have. We don't have enough officers for a 100,000 person city. We're running this like it's a 50,000 person city. We don't need to be the city of Miami. We don't need to be Miami-Dade County. But at the same point in time, we maybe need, instead of 110 people, maybe 200, 150 to 200. I mean,
mm,
they're stretched too thin. They are stretched too doggone thin for what they have to do. I mean, it's
yeah,
not fair. It's not fair to the officers, and there's a lot of our officers are good people. Okay, we had a couple of women that weren't the best, and thankfully, Chief said, "There's the door. Walk out and don't come back," which is the proper protocol. But most of the officers I've dealt with are very professional. They help people and they care about this community. They do. And when we did our Crime Watch with the Hamlet, they came out and they were great with us. You know, but at the same point in time, they can only do so much. If we don't start to see something and say something, like my friend Mrs. Bush in the South says, and start to do something about it, when you see something happen with a shooting, when you see something, report it. You have to see something and say something. You cannot um be still on us. You can anonymously report stuff to Crime Stoppers. You can anonymously report it 911 or the non-emergency number. Say something.
hmm,
Don't be afraid to say something if something's wrong. It might be nothing, but at least say something. If you think something's wrong, say it. Tell the police
yeah,
if you think something's going on in your neighborhood. Say, hey, look, I think there's some people acting unruly. Can you maybe ask the officers if they can send a couple patrol cars, maybe extra beef up patrols in the neighborhood? There's things they can do that are small things that can go a big way towards solving it.
right,
But they need help themselves. I'll probably go to council at some point if it keeps going. I'll read how many again to them to get their attention. I'll even enter it in the public record. But when I go, I don't want to hear this stuff like certain people that ran did. Oh, let's get rid of Delma Pratt. Firing a police chief is not your answer. You need resources and you need manpower. You don't need to fire people when you need to hire people. And
yeah,
wasting $250,000 on a vote that means nothing when you could have hired policemen to save lives and stop this stuff. Final point, Chris, before I go. I shop at the Publix on 199th and Ives. When I moved here in 2012, staying there in 2018, and then moved back, stay there. There's usually a police officer in that plaza from usually 1:30 to 8:30 at night. There's a police
hmm,
officer sitting there. Now there's no Miami Gardens police officer there. Came back in 2019, and since then, no police officer is there. And they come in maybe to get some food, but they don't stay. And there used to be a police
hmm,
officer in that plaza. So that tells you something
yeah,
right there. When they can't even
yeah,
protect a major business like that has major commerce with a McDonald's, a 7-Eleven, a Publix, Employer Shop, and a Walgreens and Publix, that's bad. And that plaza had issues a long time ago, if you do remember.
yeah,
So how do we
So
yeah.
advocate to get more police?
that
Well,
is a good question.
I
that's
mean,
that's.
do we step out of Miami Gardens and ask for it? Is there a statute? Is there something that we can call upon? And that's number one. And number two, what's going on? Because the governor wants to bring Dodge to every city. What's going to happen when it comes to Miami Gardens?
But that's a question that here. That's the thing. The awareness and understanding of what's going on around us, not just what's happening here, but we need to pay
Hmm.
attention to what's happening outside of here.
Right.
Because if you see that they're now bringing, what is it? I think it's Doral over there in Doral, and now those are questions to ask council people.
Yeah,
Those are
Doral
questions to
already
ask
came
at
out.
the Right. Those are questions to ask at the next council meeting on Wednesday, or whomever has a meeting. I don't know if anyone else has a meeting coming up anytime soon. Those are questions to ask these council members, like, hey, what's happening here? Because if they're on the state, you have state universities, and now you have a city over here in Miami, and now what happens if they come here? Because we're in a ripe area,
They're
right?
gonna
Because
come
the
here.
stadium the
They're gonna.
stadium is here, and
Yep.
you have large scale events taking place this week. I mean, this year. You have what is it? What are we in April? So next month you have Formula One, and then right after that is the I think it's called the Club Cup. for and June 14th is the first game, and that's FIFA. That FIFA is not only in 2026. FIFA is happening this year. But no one, have you heard anything in the city? I'll wait. No.
No.
Has anyone said anything? Nope. I'll wait. No. I've been looking into it myself because I just want to know so that I want you guys to know what's going on. And yeah, they may post that there's, right now they just posted about the F1 racing and the parking in the clean zone, but on the agenda, which I'm going to talk about briefly because we're coming up on time, but on the agenda for that's coming up, they talk about the clean zone. The clean zone is up to 27th Avenue and then, northwest, I think County Line Road and a little bit further down, I think 167 or something like that. Those are the clean zones, but things happen outside of the clean zone. If you're where you guys live over there and where 37th Avenue is over here and Scott Lake over there, things are happening over there too during these events, but no one's talking about it. And that's a problem that I want residents to understand that you're impacted because I know there are people who are in Norwood, Norland who got stuck over there because Formula One was happening and they were driving up and down 12th Avenue. Well, it's 2 lanes, one way up, one way down. Folks are stuck. They can't get out because they're stuck 12th Avenue and they're stuck on 199th Street. Where are you going? You can't go anywhere. And that's something that they need to prepare for. So before I go any further, let me just do the breakdown of the monies of the $100 fine, because I think somebody asked that question before. So $20 must be remitted to the Department of Revenue for deposit into the General Revenue Fund. That's one. $60 shall be retained by the city and must be used to administer speed detection system in school zones and other public safety initiatives. $3 must be remitted to the Department of Revenue for deposit into the Department of Law Enforcement Criminal Justice Standards and Training Trust Fund. $12 must be remitted to Miami-Dade County School District and must be used for school security initiatives for student transportation or to improve the safety of student walking conditions. And $5 shall be retained by the city for school crossing guard recruitment and retention program pursuant to Florida Statute 316, 1894. That's where the $100 goes. Now,
That's very broad statements. I don't what that's very broad
that
statement.
that is it's here. That's what I'm saying. All of this information was in the agenda, and I'm looking at the January 24th, 2024 agenda. That's what I'm saying. These things are there, but again, we don't all there's some agendas that are so packed sometimes you can only look at so many things and you only have 2 minutes or you have to email. So don't think just your 2 minutes, but you can email your council members as well or your city manager or whomever as well and say, hey, what's this about? What's going on here? What is happening here? Because there are a lot of people. If so you guys are on Instagram, so you can see the comments on just that video that I did and you see what people are saying, like, hey, that one lady said she got 8. She posted today. She got 8 of them, 8 tickets. She
There's
didn't know
something
anything about it.
wrong. There's something
8.
wrong. There's something unlawful about this whole ticket thing.
Well, that's why that's why I'm encouraging folks to start saying something, asking questions. How can it be? Because if you look at some people are like, wait, they're supposed to give you a ticket by hand. They're not supposed to use this. I don't. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't say what's this, that, or whatever. I'm just reading what they have, and the information that they have. That's why I said this is its own show, that's episode, because it's so much detail into what's going on with this school zone thing that even when they first put it out, there were a few of us that had to meet with Chief Nargiso because I was like, what, why did they put the sign on the wrong side? Maybe because I don't live on 32nd, I live on 31st, but they had it on where I live and there's no school over there. But I guess that but there was no explanation as to why it was there. we had to go out and dig and find the information on our own. And so I think that's why I say there is a miscommunication when it comes to the information that's disseminated when it comes to this. Because because I think correct me if I'm wrong, someone who was at the Lake Lucerne meeting, I think Chief Nargiso said it was like 28,000. I think it was like 28,000 tickets or something like that, or maybe 28,000. No, not tickets. Sorry, violations or something like that. That's in 1 month, and I'm telling
There's
you, yeah.
and what is it called when you have who does the checks and balances of these cameras and stuff? Who makes sure that these things are working properly, are facing properly? Because I looked at my video and I'm like, I don't even know where that is, and that's
Well,
why I went over there.
well, here's the deal. On this week's agenda, or this week, next week's agenda, if you look at an agenda item, hold on, let me look for it right now. Agenda item, I think it's the last one actually.
I
Okay,
put a comment.
so
Go ahead.
the agenda item is agenda item 1211 is resolution of the city council of the city of Miami Gardens to appoint Althea M. Campbell to serve as the hearing officer for the city of Miami Gardens red light camera and school speed zone hearing. So the city attorney, I think she said at the last meeting that they were looking for someone to be I guess the judge, if you will, for these red speed zone. Folks are questioning them. So there you go on that. So that's something
But
to
who
look
is that
into.
person? Who is that
That,
person? What is that person's credentials? Who vetted
but
them? Like, who is that?
Right.
you got that. That's why I say you got to open up you got to click on the agenda, go
Mhm.
into, when you click on it, you go into the PDF, and it breaks it down. Who is she? What's her credential? Why did they pick this person? All of that's there. You got to
Chris,
look
I got a
into that
question on
on
that.
that. Sure.
Why are they allowing, when it's a traffic violation, you go to county, you go to county court, you go to state court? Why is Miami Gardens even appointing a judge or magistrate or anything on this? How are they legally allowed to do that? Traffic is a state
Because
and county issue.
no, I think that's a state law
Oh,
that they
okay.
have to. Yeah, that's a state law. Because I was trying to go. If you go through the agenda, and I'll put it in there so you guys can go. It's pretty in depth, and they tell you, look, and even with this one, it even says, if you just look in this agenda item 1211, it says that they have to have someone there. The city has to have someone within so much of time of them having implemented this system, so that
Okay.
it can be fair and balanced and so on and so forth. So she said it, and I think it was the last meeting, she said they have to appoint someone because they didn't have the funds or something. I don't know, something like that. But she did bring up that they were looking for someone to be to have the hearing, so that people can come there, and then they can like Alexandra, she can say, hey, listen, what's this about, and state her case and plead her case and say, why should I pay this? This isn't right. Or even the
Wait
They
a
didn't
lady
have.
minute.
that
So
got
that's not set up yet.
no.
So you're
They didn't
sending
have.
these tickets out, and we have the option for a hearing, and that's not even set up. That's
As
ridiculous.
far as I know, don't
That
They don't
quote me
have the.
on
seems
it.
like
So,
that is gonna make them get looked at and their books looked
Mhm.
at. That type
Yep.
of
well,
activity is a red flag, and the governor
Yep.
and whatever Doge team is gonna come.
Hmm.
And where are they
but
gonna start skimming money from? From the
Yep.
but this is
people.
not just the city of the Miami Gardens. This is Miami-Dade County. So this is not just here, because if you look on, like I tell you, if you go on that video that I posted, you have people from Kendall, you have people who are like in the city of Miami. There are people in Homestead who are getting the same thing. It's all over Hialeah. So it's not just in Miami Gardens.
Okay.
This is a state law. That's
But
why I
that's what
said
I'm
it's a
saying.
state law. And so now when you see the one with the school bus where the sheriff, I forgot her name,
Rosie
excuse me, I
Cordero
forgot her name.
Stubbs.
Yeah,
Rosie Cordero
there you go.
Stubbs.
Thank you, her. But they stopped that. because they had folks who were on, like, say they're driving on 27th Avenue. They're on the completely opposite side of the road. They don't have to stop for school zone. There's a median and everything there. They're nowhere near the school, and they were getting tickets. They were getting tickets 4, 6, 8 lanes over, and they were getting tickets. And folks are like, wait a minute, how am I getting a ticket? And I'm all the way over here on this side, and the school bus is over there. And they were getting, and those school bus tickets are like, I think $250 or some ridiculous amount.
Yes, they are.
So there was someone who got like 2 of those. And I said, oh. And so she said, no, we're going to stop this and figure out what
Who's
the
she?
problem is.
Who is she?
The
Oh,
sheriff, Miami-Dade
Okay.
County Sheriff.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I gotta go.
they stopped that. Say it again.
I got to go in a minute, but one quick thing.
Okay. Sure,
Okay,
go ahead.
like they're saying, you just said they don't have the money to pay this magistrate. The city doesn't have the money to pay the magistrate, right? Okay, we're going to spend $250,000 on an election. There's your money to go pay the magistrate $50,000, and then you take the 200,000 and you earmark it towards something else. They have the money. They just want to take the money and use it for their special pet projects, wasting our money, wasting our time, rather than really solving problems. Chris, great show. Thank you guys. I got to get out of here. Thank you and God bless.
All right. Thanks, Fred. Thank you. Have a good night. Get rid of the school zone ticket. It hurts the citizens' pocket. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Show on stage. Can I do that? Oh, there we go. All right. Okay. I'm just learning as I go. So okay. Now I see how to put the comments up there. I couldn't figure out how to put the comments up there, but yeah. All right. We need an agenda. I can't see what it says. We need an agenda committee. Okay. An agenda committee? Well, I don't know how that's going to work out because you don't know what they're going to put on the agenda until they put it on the agenda.
So
So
how much time do you have between the agenda comes out and the next meeting?
1 week, the agenda comes out. This agenda came out on Thursday, and your
There
meeting is on next meeting's on Wednesday.
is that lawful? Is that are they within the time frame?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay, well, nobody has enough time in a day to read all of that. So if we had an agenda committee, someone could read one part, and then like come together and whatever issues that we feel pressing, put a blast out there. Like, okay, this, break it down for people.
That's why I'm going to read the agenda. That's it. Not this one, not this agenda coming up, but the not this agenda I have right now, but the one coming up. What I'm going to do is just do an episode of just the agenda, just going
Okay.
through the agenda, and so we can just have an understanding because this agenda is pretty packed. Actually, there's quite a few things in this agenda, and one of the items in this agenda coming up is for the it's a second reading for the clean zone, right? And that's what does it say? Establish time for the clean zone during stadium events to establish a restricted stadium zone to prohibit the operations of pedicabs, golf carts, and low-speed vehicles in said zone. And also, I know there was an issue when it came to people selling, and that's when Councilwoman Powell brought up, like, why should someone get 60 days for possibly selling drinks or whatever it may be in jail? That didn't make any sense. That's a little bit harsh. So that's this particular item that's coming up. Now I spoke on this item, not on the 60 days, but I spoke on it when it came to the pedicabs. My situation with the pedicabs is not that I'm not here to stop anyone. Make your money. I don't care if you want to make your money. Do what you got to do. My thing is there needs to be a space for them to be, because I've seen way too many times, and I've gotten video from people way too many times of folks on their pedicabs or their petty bikes or whatever you want to call them, and they're just recklessly driving through traffic. And this is 27th Avenue, this is 183rd, this is 37th Avenue, this is 199. I've seen them everywhere. I've seen them parked on the sidewalks, blocking the sidewalks for pedestrians to walk. I've seen them riding on the sidewalks. so with looking for people to bring to the stadium. uh that's a problem. We need to have an established area where, just like the Uber and the Lyft and whomever else, taxi cab drivers, they have an established area. I don't see why that couldn't be the same for folks who are on these pedicabs or golf carts or whatever. Make your money, but you need to have some order, because someone's going to get killed. Someone's going to get killed, and then it's going to be a situation of reaction instead of being proactive. That's what's going to happen. And that's just my take on that. So that's one of the items. You also have agenda item here where they want to have use the city hall and community room for a press conference for the Orange Blossom Classic, which is on May 21st. The press conference will be. So it's a variety of different things. Also, for those who know the senior center, there's something on here which I haven't gone through, but the city manager has brought it up. And regarding the what does that say, parking in residential areas. Yeah, 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 they do. It's regarding the senior center and building senior housing. For those who don't know, the senior center, when it was built, was supposed to have senior housing built along with it. Now, I don't know what the situation happened or whatever happened there, but needless to say, now if you look in this agenda, the city manager, if I'm gonna look for it here, I can't see where, I don't know where it is here. But anyway, the city manager brings up the fact that they are going to, where is it? Anyway, I'll bring it up at the next time I come back on here. I'm going to speak on this. But the city manager says something about this specific area. And for those who don't know, the oldest home in the city of Miami Gardens is on that property. That's the Enrico farmhouse. It's going to be 100 years old next year. And that's an important structure, because that home, not only is it 100 years, it's going to be 100 years old, it's also um, one of two structures in the city that's designated historic by Miami-Dade County. That's this farmhouse behind the senior center. It's a two-story building. For those who don't know, the two-story house that's behind the senior center, that place, and the arch, the Sunshine State Arch. Those are the only two historically designated structures in the city of Miami Gardens. So we need to preserve those spaces.
What are they
Um,
gonna do? Are
and
they gonna revitalize it? Sorry to cut you off, but are they gonna do anything with that farmhouse?
I've asked several times, and I don't think they want to, although I want it to be done. And
Yes,
so
historical. It should.
I want it to be done. I think they're, I don't think, because from what I'm looking at, the information that's on the agenda, when you click into it's like 81 pages. So that's why I said, when you get the agenda online, click the PDF, because the PDF for that particular agenda item is 81 pages
Let
of
me let,
it's
let me check it.
yeah, yeah, it's 81 pages. And so the house itself is not included from what I see, but I'm not sure. So don't quote me on that particular um, thing. But I just want people to be aware that you have a lot of things that are going to be happening soon. So you have two street naming ceremonies for two women who lived in the Bunch Park area. The first one coming up is going to be next Wednesday, although the flyer says Thursday. And I know myself and several other people have reached out to the city of Miami Gardens. I reached out on social media. I know I've gotten emails of folks who sent emails to the public affairs department to change that date, because it says Thursday, but it's really supposed to be Wednesday, April 30th. That's the first one for Bessie B. Stringfield. The next one following will be for Joanne Cox Roll. Both of those women lived in Miami Gardens, in Bunch Park area. So that's coming up. Also, like I said, you have Formula One, which is coming up, but also the FIFA Club Cup games. There are 8 games happening this year. this year. And at least 4 of those games, if I'm not mistaken, uh, they start at 3 o'clock. Now they're going to be in June, July time, so there might not be school at that time. However, just because it starts at 3 o'clock does not mean that people what go to the games at 3 o'clock. They do what? They come before 3 o'clock, which means what? Traffic. So if you were here around the time when that uh, Copa soccer situation took place last year, you saw that folks were outside. I was going to Sawgrass Mill at 10 o'clock on a Sunday, and people were out there because I had gotten video from someone who she was going to church at 7 o'clock, and folks were out there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that game didn't start until like 8 o'clock at night or whatever time it started at night. So it folks are out there for hours, hours, and that's something that needs to be addressed. It's being addressed, I know for sure, but it needs to be addressed by residents, and residents need to be aware. Because if you got somewhere to go and they're blocking off traffic, blocking off the turnpike, you need to know these things ahead of time. You don't need to know a week before something happens. And you're like, oh wait, they just blocked this off. No, they should be telling us now. Hey, listen, this Copa Club Cup is happening here, because soccer fans and American football fans are not the same. I don't care if you want to call them both football, they are not the same. Trust me. I was in Mexico when there was a World Cup. You couldn't find anyone. I was in Canada when there was a World Cup, and everybody was somewhere and you couldn't find anyone. Trust me. Two totally different fans, completely different. And so we need to be very mindful and remind these people that we live in a residential suburban area, and that they shouldn't just do things and say, okay, well, you guys always had events here, so you should be all right with it. Does not work that way and should not work that way. There should be some care in how things happen and how they do things and how they respond to residents. So if you guys have any concerns, questions, ideas that you want to throw out there, send it either my text or my email. If you're on WhatsApp, do it WhatsApp. If you're on the broadcast channel that I just did today, you can send. Well, no, you can't send it there, but you could send it to me in the DMs there. But that's a way for you guys to be aware that these things are coming, and those tickets aren't cheap, because I looked at the tickets and one ticket is $346. Okay, so that's this year. Next year, it's going to be even worse. I'm just letting you guys know. So, do you have anything else you want to say, Alex? You want to add? Anyone
Um,
have any questions? Leave it in the chat. Yeah,
I have
go
a
ahead.
question about the property that was deemed historical, that building behind the senior center.
Yeah,
Is that the Serenity Grove?
Serenity Grove. What's that? Is that a place? No, this is called the Enrico Farmhouse.
So
The
this
one
is
that's
not
behind the senior center is the Enrico Farmhouse.
is that the is it sponsored by Councilman Reggie Leon? I'm looking at the
What,
agenda. I'm trying to see
oh,
which one
what are
is
you
it.
looking at? Okay, let me
The
see.
PDF. I'm on there. What number resolution is it? I was looking at 12.2.
2.
That's it.
Um,
For the construction of a senior housing at the senior center park, and to
that
negotiate a new lease agreement for review by the city council.
Right. So, yeah, so that could be it. But if you look, see, you have to go through some of the pictures, and you'll see there the senior, it's I don't know what page it's on, but you can see the house, and then there's a green line around the area, and it doesn't include the house. So I don't think I'm not sure, but I don't think the house is included. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on anything. But um yeah, that might be that's why I say I have to go through it myself and really kind of look through the whole thing to see what's on there. But that's why I post the agendas all the time, So I want folks to read it, but I realize people aren't reading the agendas and they're not going in depth into the agenda. So they don't really know what's happening until it happens. And then they're like, hey, when did that happen? And the school speed zone is a perfect example of it happened last year, but nobody was paying attention.
I
And
think
now,
also some
yeah,
education on how to read this and what some of these things mean. Like the
yeah.
simple stuff, maybe some people don't understand and just be like, "Oh, well, I don't know what that is, so I'm just gonna skip around it."
Yeah, that could be it too. But I think that's why I said I'm just gonna start. I realized that with certain things, I could just go ahead and just tell you guys like, hey, this is this is like you and I are having a conversation right now, so that you can flesh out like, hey, where is this located, or what is this, or what can we do, or I didn't realize that. And then we go through it. Now I'm not going to go through everything, but I'll go through enough that it'll start to open some eyes like, oh, okay, I didn't know they were doing that. Oh, really? Okay. Because things happen here all the time, but people are just not paying attention. It happens right in your face. And people are just not paying attention. And then they get shocked when, this gets closed down or the turnpike gets closed down during Formula One. And everybody's like, wait, when did that happen? Like, yo, you didn't realize that the street that's on the side of the stadium that folks used to cut through when they're leaving Walmart or whatever, that's no longer available. Why is it that the street where you get onto the turnpike, why is that closed off? Because that's utilized during Formula One. But no one was, there are people, not the people who were paying attention that were out there protesting, they paid attention. But the people who were not paying attention, they were like, they're protesting over there. And now when they want to use the turnpike, guess what? The turnpike's closed from 7 to 7. So you can't use that turnpike. You have to go to where? County Line Road and get on the turnpike if you want to get on the turnpike. You can't get on right here during Formula One because they're using it for what? The racing. They're using that street to race their cars. That's something that we need to pay attention to. It's the little things that you don't pay attention to. Not saying you, I'm just saying in general, that you don't pay attention to that screws you up later on. And you're like, wait, when did that happen? Now you know. So that's one of the reasons why I want to read the agenda on its own. I want to go through the North Miami Beach. I want to go through hopefully some people who are on here. I know you're on here. For Myrtle Grove and also the third term, and definitely the school zone cameras. That's another one. I'd like to hopefully get someone, maybe a police officer, on here to just really give a little bit more in-depth explanation, or even one of these council members to just get on here and say why it is that they voted on it, and what does it mean, and what do they understand about it. Because just because some folks vote on things doesn't mean they understand it as well. I've come to realize that after going to several meetings, that sometimes folks don't always understand what it is that they're voting on. Because when you ask them why they vote on it, then they're like, "Oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
How
they're like
often will I
this.
be having this platform to share information to us?" Well, this is my first time, so I I think I'll probably do it a little bit more often, maybe once a week. I'm not sure right now, but I figure around this, definitely it has to be around 7 o'clock is probably the better time for me to do it. And because I have a bird, sorry, I'll just throw it out there. I have a parrot, and I can't do it in the daytime because it's too much noise. And even though I'm in a room, I have tiles, so all that noise still travels. And now you can't hear anything because it's late at night, so she's quiet. So that's the best time for me to do it. And also, I think for you guys, sometimes it's just better to hear the information. It's easier for me to just tell you the information instead of writing it all the time, because I know sometimes people aren't um, they don't have time to read a lot of things, especially some of the information like with the North Miami Beach that I'll probably post. So if I if I just come on here, you guys can talk and just give your own input on it or your understanding of it, or ask questions. If I don't know, then I'll find out and I can come back and give you. So I will say maybe right now once a week, just to give myself a little space, and I got to learn this platform. I have to learn it a little bit more. So tonight was trial and error with this platform that I have. But yeah, I think once a week for now. And if it becomes more engaged with folks who want to know more, then I'll probably do it a little bit more. It could be nightly, or you guys tell me what's uh, good time for you. I'll put a poll out there, and you guys can tell me what's a good day for you, and what's a good time. I try not to do it on Sundays because I know folks are in church or whatever. They may want their day off, and I usually don't post anything on Sundays anyway, unless it's something really serious going on. Then I'll post, but I usually don't post anything on Sundays. But I figured I just decided last minute to just jump on today. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it today. I've been trying to do it for a while, and I know some of you guys know I've been trying to do this for a while, but every time I try to do it, something else comes up. And tonight was no different because my computer decided just didn't want to work tonight, so I'm on my phone per usual. But you know, can I announce Friday's workshop? Yeah, you can come. Oh, they'll have you up here, Karen Hunter. Oh, Karen. Let me see. I don't know how to end. Let me see. Karen, is that you?
This is me.
All right, Karen. Hey,
I just
thank
want
you
to
for showing up.
congratulate you and thank you for this platform because there's so many issues that we need to discuss. And one of the things we had mentioned to our elected officials is that when there's something affecting the entire city or of a significant magnitude, to have a town hall, to have some kind of forum so that people can dig in uh, and get informed and educate themselves on the details of whatever it is, whether it's the third term or the incinerator or Formula One or FIFA or whatever. But there needs to be that, and we've suggested that over and over again. So I salute you for providing this platform when they obviously have come up short in that area.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And go ahead and tell folks who you are in terms of what platform you have, so that folks will know about your platform and where they can find it.
Oh, yeah, and this was a good time to do that too. So, my organization is One Community Alliance Network Foundation, and my partner is on here, Kim Hunter Hurd. And this coming Friday, we have our Arbor Day slash Earth Day um, community event where we'll be rehabbing homes for seniors. When we say seniors, we mean in their 80s and 90s, primarily. With we partner with Job Corps, so their students are getting hands-on training and painting these homes. With Sherwin Williams, with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, with uh, Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, Calder Casino. Mayor Harris and some others donate to the either with their service or with their funds, and so the it'll culminate this Friday, where we'll be having hands-on laying sod because we've had their sprinklers redone, their wells fixed, so that their homes can be beautified and that they can spend their last years enjoying their homes. So if you want to know more and join us, bring out a crew, and we do offer community service hours. I'm sorry, our major partner is the umbrella group of neighborhood organizations. There's 11. And so we try to do a home in each community. We're actually also going to be doing marquee for Lake Lucerne and for Riverview this year as well. So my contact number, Kim, I'm going to give yours, is 305 582-9529. I'll put it in the chat. And anyone who wants to come out and get your hands dirty to help these seniors, you're welcome to do so. But you can also go to our website, onecommunitycan.com. That's the number one, communitycan.com. And we're on Facebook as well. So you can keep up with events and things that are going on in the community. Thanks, Chris, for that opportunity.
All right, thank you. Okay, Alex, I had to put you on mute because there was like a little bit of feedback, but go ahead and tell people who you are and what event you have coming up.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chris. Okay. Well, my name is Alexandra Hughes, and I am the founder of Echo Ed Impact Corp, EEIC for short. This Friday, April 25th, from 5:30 to 8:30 at the Betty T. Ferguson Recreational Complex, we're going to have our first community workshop. It's called Families First: Resources, Rights, and Real Life Support. It's going to be a series of 6 workshops, and our first one is going to be on IEP advocacy, special needs trusts, emergency preparedness for families supporting children and adults with special needs, as well as healthcare support. Have a couple of speakers coming in, and they have some really important information that I think is going to be very beneficial for the community. We'll have some refreshments, some family activities, and some giveaways. And this is family centered: mom, dad, kids, whoever that child or adult child is being taken care of, and guardians. So I'm really excited about it because it's a series of workshops geared to strengthening the family, not only with information and economics and education. Um, I'm really looking forward to getting the community more together and getting the information out there. Sorry, got tongue tied there. But it's at Betty T. Ferguson. The 25th is our first workshop, and it's at 5:30. Hope you guys can make it. I'm gonna put the registration link in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Well, okay. If anyone else has any other events coming up, if you didn't send it to me, because I have both of theirs that I posted already in the story, but I'm gonna go ahead and post it tonight, so it'll be folks will be able to see it tomorrow. Also, if you have something else that you want to go ahead and shout out, you can come up. I'll post the link again, and you can just, or you can type it in the chat, whichever is easier for you, and just let folks know what's going on so that they can be aware of what's happening. Also, there's a tree giveaway that's going to be happening next Saturday. Now, I think they changed it from Betty T to Rolling Oaks Park. So for all you guys who live over in Rolling Oaks, I hope you guys know that this tree giveaway is coming your way. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if it's running up. What's that street? 14th Avenue or something? I don't know how. I don't know where it's going to run, but I know when they have it over here by Betty T, it's always it like it goes from the back port. What is that street? 196 Lane, behind Betty T, behind the outdoor stage area, auditorium, amphitheater area. So from that parking lot over there, if you know what I'm talking about, on that side, that there you can enter from 32nd Avenue. The line goes from there all the way across 199 to the Leslie Estate area, all the way back around to 32nd Avenue. So I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if that's going to run around up to 12th Avenue. I really don't know. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. But for those who live in that area, please be aware that that is coming your way. That is coming your way next week. And if you want to sign up for a tree, you have until, what's today, 19th. So you have until tomorrow. Apparently, there's a cutoff date now of tomorrow, the 20th is the last day to sign up for the tree giveaway. So they're giving one tree, one fruit tree, and then one ornamental type plant or flower or something to go along with it. So if you want to get a free tree during this Arbor Day weekend, then I suggest you go ahead and sign up. I'm going to put everything on the Miami Gardens Now page. If you're following already on WhatsApp, it's already sitting there. So you just scroll up. It's on there somewhere. I think I posted last week or something. So you can get it there.
Chris, I have a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Um, some years ago, the city planted trees, on the swell along, let's say, 12th Avenue, and on some within communities and what have you. And some of those trees have not been, that's my grandson. Some of those trees have not been pruned or, shaped so that they would look like a canopy. I think that's what they were going for, but
Yeah.
they just look like eyesores.
Mm.
Um, do you have any information on whether the city has any responsibility for the trees that they planted for the upkeep, or is that totally on the homeowner whose home it may be in front of?
Now, the guy that was sitting behind me during Meet Me Monday, he asked that question and he stated the trees are on the swale. And so, what is her name now? Jennifer Willis, who's the code enforcement, code compliance officer that was there. I think, well, they went outside, so they didn't really have a discussion inside. But I think that is on the city. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Um, but I think it might be on the city. Check the code book. If anything, I would reach
Yeah,
out to her and find out because he asked that question. He asked that very
okay.
question.
I will, because
And
that concerns a lot of people up and down 12th Avenue. And there was one person at the Norwood Norland um, Crime Watch meeting who was, you know, uh, complaining that the, the types of trees that were planted were trees that have a lot of pollen, and with people, with people of color
oh,
having a lot of respiratory issues, that why did they select those trees in the first place? And then on top of that, these are trees that require a lot of maintenance. So yeah, I'll look into it.
oh,
Thanks.
yeah, it's on the first video, the Meet Me Monday part 1. It's somewhere, I don't remember where, but it's more towards the end because she's at the towards the end of the video. So he asked her the question somewhere on that video. I mean, you could see what she said there about that.
Okay, thanks. We'll look into it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I think that's about it. I went over by 38 minutes. So, but that's okay. That's okay. It was trial and error. Um, Hi, Brenda. So, one of the things that I would like to do, and I said it to Brenda and I've said it to a couple other people, is Bunch Park. This year, um, what do you call it? Oh, how to get an item on the agenda. Um, yeah, you would probably have to talk to your council person. I don't know exact. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, how to get an item on the agenda? You'd have to probably talk to the what do you call it? Not the council, maybe the city clerk or or maybe your council person, whatever the item is. If you're just gonna speak on something, well, you've been to the city council meeting, so you know what to do there. Yeah, so with Bunch Park, because Richmond Heights is equivalent to Bunch Park, but it's down south, they celebrated their 75th anniversary of Richmond Heights being Richmond Heights, whereas there was nothing done for Bunch Park. And so I know Bunch Park, Rainbow Park, and so forth. But one of the things is that I wanted to do was to get like a historic marker for that area. And because there's nothing that you don't know you're going into Bunch Park, you don't know Rainbow Park or anything. There's nothing that denotes where you are. You're just there. You're just on 22nd Avenue. Unless you see the park itself or that says Bunch Park, you don't know anything about Bunch Park and the history of Bunch Park. And so that's why it's important, especially with Joanne Cox Roll, street naming that's coming up, just to highlight. She's not the only person, but there are several, including Commissioner, a lot of people that grew up in that area. We don't know anything about. I'm not saying we don't know, but it's not visible to the community the history of Bunch Park, and it's
I just
important,
want to
especially
point out
what's going on. Yeah, go ahead.
that Ralph R. Bunche was the first Black Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Hmm.
And that's something our community should be very proud of.
Yeah,
And you're right, Chris, there is no marker, there's nothing to educate the people who live in that area. Like, man, we should be really proud
yeah,
that our community is named after this great man.
yeah. Completely nothing. And I just thought to myself, I was like, how come they don't have anything? Like, there's nothing. And I said, nah, nah, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna get something going in terms of not just a sign that says Bunch Park, but a marker, a historic marker that says, hey, this is Bunch Park, and here da 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 about Bunch Park. Tell the story of Bunch Park on both sides of the marker. So when somebody comes, they could say, oh, let me stop and take a look and take a picture of it and just absorb the history, because there's so much history. Because had I not seen, had I not got to the ribbon cutting of Bunch Park, I would not have known anything about Joanne Coxroll, and I would not known to look into not only her but also the the area itself. And so the video that I did, was the very day that I met Miss Connie Roll. I don't know if she's on here or not, but I met her. Everyone, that was all that video that was done. Those interviews was done that day. I knew absolutely nothing about any of these people. I knew nothing about Bunch Park. I heard about Bunch Park. I know about Bunch Park. I've been to Bunch Park, but I didn't know the history of Bunch Park. And so when I did my little video, and it's short, but I just short enough to even open my eyes to say, oh wait, there was a shopping center here. Oh wait, they had a this here, they had a that here, they had. I didn't know any of those things were there. All I knew was
In
there
a
was a park.
drive-in movie theater, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All I knew there was a park. That's all I know about Bunch Park. There was a park, and that was it. That's it. That's all. I didn't know all of this stuff was there, and still started doing my little digging. And I said, "Well, this stinks. Well, how come we don't know any of this information?" And so
And,
that's why I want to make it known to people that it's here. We got these people taking away You see, I don't mean to go off on something else, but just to show you the education, the lady that's in charge of education, McMahon, she thought A1 sauce was AI. Like what? Those are the
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, but think about it. Those are the people that's in charge, or in the head position of the education department of the United States of America. What? So imagine Black history in general. No. So we have to take it upon ourselves to preserve our own history. That's it.
Chris, I can't wait until you do a documentary on the history of Bunch Park, because that's going to incorporate, the history of the Black veterans, and how they were not, um, how America built their suburbs from the GI Bill, which was denied to Black GIs, veterans, and then
Hmm.
finally, when they did give them the same benefit, they allowed them to they built the housing in Bunch Park for Black veterans.
Hmm. Yep. That's it. That's it right there.
My uncle was one of the first Black veterans that was able to purchase a home in Bunch Park on that GI Bill. But
You
many people
see?
don't even know how suburbs in America was built and the advantages they were able to gain, while leaving the other GIs and their families in the government housing, which is where all of the GIs had been living. But I'm going to stop there because I know you're going to do your documentary, and it's going to be awesome.
Kim said, "Stop."
Yeah, some history buff. I'm sorry.
No, that's that. Listen, you're like company, so hey, yeah, I definitely, hopefully by I want to say not next, maybe next week or the week after, I want to start interviewing some folks. And because I didn't want to interview anyone. I was coming down with something. I didn't know what I was coming down with. So I didn't want to go to anyone's house or anything like that. But definitely, I spoke to Commissioner already, that I wanted to interview her and her sisters. And, I'm going to Brenda, I see you're on there, so I'm definitely reaching out to you eventually, and you guys, Kim and Karen, and some other folks as well, just to get their, get get their input on the history of the area because it's important to. And the same thing with the Enrico farmhouse, the amount of information that I have on this farmhouse and its impact on the community, be it black, white, or whatever, but just the amount of land that they owned. And then not only owned, but he was a part of the dairy industry, a huge part of the dairy industry in the 1920s. And so this gentleman and his family, he came from Italy, and they owned all of this land. He went to Michigan first, and then he was out in I-75 area over there, and then eventually came over here. But him and his family, till even after he died, the business still went on. Now I don't know if any other family members are still in the business, because I know it had moved up to the Okeechobee area, but still, it's important that we. And when I do Miami Gardens history, for those who don't know, like I'm part of Profiles in Black Miami, but that's specific to Black history in South Florida. This one is just North Dade history. Whether you're black, white, does not matter. It's the history that's here. That's what I want to um, highlight. And so you have people who live in Lake Lucerne area, Bennett Lifter. I've spoken to Bennett Lifter's son. And Bennett Lifter was really instrumental in a lot of spaces in this place that we now call Miami Gardens, as well as Miami Beach, as well as what is now known as Golden Glades. He owned all of that property over there, by the way. So he owned a lot of things, and he built a lot of businesses and a lot of hotels. But people pass by and they see that name and they don't know who he was. And the same thing with Jesse Trice. So those are there's I have a stack of, well, there's some of you guys have seen my 50,000 folders that I have organized with each different thing specific to Miami Gardens, and then the others is for profiles. But I want you guys to just be informed of the information, be informed of the history, stay informed of current things that are happening inside the city of Miami Gardens, up in the state of Florida, and outside of here, but just in total in the United States. And just stay aware. And if you know something and you have the ability to share, please share. Don't keep it for yourself. I like to. If I'm. Oh, and by the way, um, if you're looking for canned soups, I'll throw that out there. And you shop at Aldi, because I know there's some people on here who shall remain nameless, but she know who she is. Who she does not shop at Aldi, but they have canned soups for 45 cents right now. So I'm saying that because we're almost into what? Hurricane season. And if you're someone who wants to just stock up on things, there's some for 14 cents actually. If you want soup, they have soups for 14 cents and 45 cents. And Aldi is pretty good about having deals there. And this is the Aldi right here on 191st and 27th Avenue. So if you're looking for deals, to just stock up and just put it away for now, by all means, there you go. There's your deal for the day. So I'm a couponer. I always find good deals. I will probably do a couponing segment on here at some point, and just to show you guys how to get some good deals. And I know people say that Publix is expensive, but you got to know how to shop at Publix, because you can come out of Publix and pay nothing or very little. I'll put it that way. and sometimes it's just using their own coupons that they have, FYI. And what's this? Let's see. She will share. Oh, okay. Wow, your mom's 93. She looks amazing. 93. Wow. So yeah, I will reach out to all you guys sometime soon. And again, I'm not sure how many times I'll be doing this particular live, but I know for the next few, they will be specific to the agenda, third term, Myrtle Grove Park, definitely the speed zone, because that's a that's a nonstop one on Instagram for me. That's why I had to come on here today and just kind of just touch on a little bit of each one of them, and I think that's it. And hopefully, you guys learned a little something tonight. I will learn. I will teach myself a little bit more about the StreamYard so that I can actually put the documents up. And whatever I talked about tonight, I'm going to go ahead and put the links in the broadcast channel for those who signed up on that. And I think most of you guys are probably on the WhatsApp. So I'm going to upload the agenda like I always do anyway with the links. And I think that's it. So thank you very much. Until next time. Oh, and also, happy Easter to everyone, or have a nice Easter day. And that's it. I'll see you when I see you, folks. I'll probably see you guys on Wednesday if I don't see you before then. Hi, everyone. Oh, wait, who's this? Was anyone, hold on, let's see what this says. Hold on, was anyone impacted by the extremely loud music? When was the music loud? Are you talking about after the Easter event or when they had the car show situation? Because I kind of went over there right after they had the car show, and I think that ended at around 7, and they had a massive speaker set. I mean, like massive. So if you're talking about then, yeah, I could see that was pretty loud. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. I wonder who. All right, so no. All right, so if any, yes, oh, was then, yeah, yeah, I was pretty. I would reach out to who is the council person in that area. Katrina Baskin. It used to be Katrina Wilson, but now they switched the thing. So Katrina Baskin. I would reach out to her and say, hey, that was pretty loud. So you may want to next time. It was pretty loud and it was graphic, I guess, some of the music. So we'll leave it at that. But yeah, definitely say something to them because if you don't say anything, they won't know. Oh, thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. Yes, you guys have a beautiful, beautiful night. And thanks for joining me. Until next time. Bye.